Hello, Algebra 1. Um, this is the last video that I'm going to send to you to get ready for this EOC. Hopefully you're going to respond back to this and earn yourself some extra credit. I'm going to be working in your orange book on page 51, Review C. I'm just going to do some more practice questions with you. If you want to pause this and kind of like work ahead of me and then press play and see if you got the question right and get some like immediate feedback, that'd be awesome. I'm going to do some on my calculator, so you might not be able to do a calculator while you're at home. If you do want to start graphing at home, another or a cool resource is Desmos, DESMOS.com. Anywho, before I get started, second period, if you're in second period, your exam is Monday morning in Lab 401. And you're welcome to join me for breakfast that morning. If you're in third period, your exam is in 401. Let's say 401, 408. Second period, you're in 408. Third period, you are in 401, not Dr. Beto. That's Miss Sorensen. I've been saying it wrong all week. You're in Miss Sorensen's lab for your EOC, third period. And then fourth period, y'all are taking it in 406. That's Miss Stokes. But you're welcome to join me for lunch if you're in fourth period or third period. And I can remind you of where your EOC is. All right. Now, let me get to doing some of these practice questions. Okay. Which is the slope? Ooh, I know that word. How do we count slope? We count slope with rise over run. And it's asking me about the slope of these dots. I'm going to work from the beginning to the end. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now if I put 11 over 4, that's not going to give me a really pretty number. So I'm probably going to have to estimate. Let's see, 11 divided by 4, and I want it in decimal form. It's going to give me 2.75. 2.75, a positive 2.75, but 2.75. Would it make sense if I use the slope 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1? I did pretty good. I'd hit a bunch of the dots. So if I have to choose here, I'm choosing A. It's definitely not negative. And it's definitely not a fraction. It's closer to 2. Number 2, the function, that is a complicated function. I probably should type it in, but I think I'm just going to use the graph. To the nearest tenth of a decimal place, what should be the value of the function of x equals 35? I'm looking right here. 35 is like right here. I wonder if I'm able to tell from this graph where 35 should be. It looks like it's falling down, so maybe it's like somewhere in here, like 8 something. I'm not confident there that I'm going to know which one it is. So I'm going to type it in my calculator. I am going to type this in my calculator. I was kind of hoping not to type in those crazy decimals, but the crazy decimals are negative 0.0086, and then it says x squared. Remember the question asked us about the number 35, so in this plot I'm going to put 35 squared plus 0.51. Again, in the x spot I'm putting 35 plus 1.09. I'm getting 8.4. I'm just kind of checking myself before I go back to the last screen. I think I've done everything right. Negative, squared, plus. So let's go see what the closest to be 8.4 would be. And I think if I had to choose, 8.4 is closer to C. Awesome. Number 3, point slope form. Remember, your textbook does point slope form kind of wonky. Point slope form that's been on the door, if you've been looking at the doors you walk by, point slope form is this. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. And the deal is that the ordered pair x1, y1 go there in these spots. So it's made up of a point and a slope. And the only one that has the y minus the number is C. Number 4, negative 63 is equal to
Mr. Dandy.
So it's happening to the x up there, number 4. I see number 4. The x right here is being divided by like a negative 7. Looks like it's being divided by a negative 7, and it's negative. Anywho, when you see division of a 7, what are you going to do the opposite of division? Bum, ba-dum. That's called inverse operations. If you had seen x plus a 63, the opposite of 63 would be subtract 63. So the answer would be B. If you had seen x minus 63, the answer would have been A. Just know that you're looking for inverse operations. If you see plus, you do minus. Sorry about that. All right, number 5. Number 5 is asking me about an inequality. So greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than equal to. And it's an inequality of a negative number. Remember the rule that if you took, let's just do this one. If you took the inequality, if you made this where it's truly just x, because we're normally just asked to solve for a solid x, and when you move the negative sign over to the 4, you're not just changing the 4 from positive to negative, you're also changing it from less than to greater than. So in this question, we're going to look for an equivalency of negative 12 with a positive x. What would the flip-flop of that be? A negative x with a positive 12. Not a fraction. We're not flipping the numbers. We're flipping the alligator mouths. Let's see. That's the same. Negatives are supposed to, and look, 2 negatives. D is the answer. Number 6, what happens to the graph of 3x minus 2 if you took the y-intercept? Which one? Not 3x minus 2. We're used to seeing it as mx plus b. Which one is the y-intercept, the m or the b? Well, if we know m is slope, the y-intercept is actually b. Look what we're told to do. We are told to decrease by 2 units. So we are told to take the equation, and instead of having y equals 3x minus 2, we're supposed to take that minus 2 and go 2 down. Well, if you're already at negative 2, what would 2 down be? Minus 4. Okay, let's just see what happens when we do that. So I'm going to graph it real quick. So what if I took 3x minus 2 and I moved it to 3x minus 4? They're parallel, which means nothing happened with the slope. All I see changed is that this 2 turned into a minus 4. So it looks like the graph just went from blue to red. It just kind of shifted down a bit. All right, the point at which the new graph intersects the y-axis is 2 units above. The point at which the new graph intersects the y-axis is 2 units below. We did see our red graph shift down. Nothing about the graph changed in terms of being steeper. And this one says neither the slope nor the y-intercept were affected. That's as if nothing ever happened to the equations. That's kind of asinine there. Remember, steeper graphs are made by bigger slopes. We didn't change the slope. The slope was still 3x. So the answer is B. 4 more. Hopefully this is a quick video so y'all can enjoy your weekend. But keep studying. Okay, graphing a system of equations. You see all the answers are like pictures in a graph. Like I said earlier, if you want to practice graphing and you're at home watching on something that's like connected to the internet, this website, desmos.com, is so nice. It's really cool. And it's really easy to graph on, probably easier than your yellow handhelds that you have in class. I'm going to use the yellow handheld, but if you want to try it real quick, press pause and go to desmos.com and try to type in those 2 equations. So a little calculator trick, hit delete 3 times and you can delete whatever is there. Let me get rid of my writing. Okay, so number 7 says y equals, someone press tab, but there's f. F is the same thing as y. Don't type y in. So y, or f, equals 4x minus 9. Check this out. The next equation, this next equation here does not start with y. It starts with x. So it's actually a relation, not a function. So to get rid of this f, I'm going to hit delete once and change it to relation. I don't want to start with y, aka f. I want to start with x. X plus y equals 6. And now I want to compare this to the graphs that I have on my paper right here. So while you're looking at this screen, if you want to look at your paper really quick before I go back and circle my answer, I see them crossing right here in the first quadrant. Ooh, if I wanted to know where they actually cross, like let's say on your EOC Monday, you get asked to solve a systems of equations, you can just press menu, analyze graph, and then look down here. 2 lines touch each other at an intersection. And then you just scan. Remember how you can scan from left to right? And your answers are usually with yellow boxes. So if you get asked, like, what is the solution? For this one, it's 3 and 3. 3 is x and 3 is y. So let's go find one of our answers that crosses at 3 and 3. 3 and 3. And I don't think that's in the wrong quadrant. That's in the, oh, this is the wrong quadrant. 3 and 3. Now, if you did change your graph to relation, so if you're on the quiz or if you're on the test on Monday and you do change your graph to relation, you are going to need to put your graph back in function mode. So menu graph entry, put it back in function mode so that you can keep typing with the F's, because you don't want to keep it in relation mode. That might mess you up. That's only a if you have to kind of thing. And why do you have to? When the equation does not start with y, you need to change it to relation mode. A salesperson is driving to a convention from her house at 55 miles per hour for X. So I'm just going to go ahead and write this to the side. It's probably a given. On the return trip, she only gets to drive 50 miles per hour. So the return trip is home, 50 miles per hour at Y. Now, check this out. Remember we had this discussion in class? If you live 10 miles away from school, how many miles do you have to go to get home? 10 miles. If it takes you 25 miles to come to school, that's a long way. How many miles will it take you to get home? 25 miles. Whether you're driving fast or slow, it's the same distance. So these two for this sales lady are going to be equal. It's just in the morning she got to drive really fast. In the afternoon she didn't get to drive so fast. So I'm going to cross this out. Nothing about 50 and 55 are equal to 4. But what it does say is that her entire round trip, if I'm trying to find the entirety of something, I'm going to count it all up. Sounds like adding, right? Add it all up. So X is her driving to the conference. Y is her driving home from the conference. We'll add those together, and it says on the round trip. So to and from, it took her 4 hours. So we're going to choose D as our answer. Now, respond back to this text message. Respond back with any sort of questions. Maybe you can go ahead and try review number 4, like flip to the next page and try review number 4. If you want the answers to those, send me a text. I'll be happy to answer whatever I can for you. I'm proud of you. Y'all been pushing hard. Majority of us have been working really, really hard, and so I'm excited to see how you perform on this EOC. I think you're ready. See you Monday morning.